We are here this morning at the request of the Chief of Police, Robert Healey, who's on my left-hand side. Chief Healey is present in the room, and as well as our City Solicitor, Brian Mazur, of Copeland and Page, PC. Copeland and Page serves as a City Solicitor for the City of Leominster. Chief Healey has requested that I convene this hearing, consider whether just cause exists to terminate the employment of Leominster Police Officer John Perreault. I will serve as the hearing officer.
I became aware on July 6th of this year by way of an anonymous tip that Officer Perreault attended a minor league baseball game in the city of Manchester, New Hampshire. At this game, Officer Perreault allegedly directed a racial slur at baseball player Carl Crawford. After reviewing published news accounts, as well as a taped interview of Carl Crawford alleging he was called a racial slur by a fan during the game, I commenced an internal investigation. I also received copies of Officer Perreault's personal Facebook page indicating he may have been the person who directed the slur towards Carl Crawford. On this personal Facebook page, I would direct your attention to the top of one of the pages where Officer Perreault wrote, "Carl Crawford wants to fight me for calling him a Monday. Capital letters, priceless." He wrote, "Game time, Crawford, what?"
That would be Exhibit 4.
It's acronyms by Will Ferrell. One reads, "Forever Alone," "Solo," "You Like Men," "Homo," "Run Nigga Run," "Popo." As you know, Popo is a slang term for police. I had previous information from officers and officers who were not present, and as well as officers that were present at St. Patty's Day during a celebration, where Officer Perreault may have said something of a racially insensitive remark to a young black male. I asked Officer Perreault the question, "What did you say to anger or upset African American male while in Boston on St. Patrick's Day? What reference to Guinness in Africa?" John Perreault's response was, "A guy walked by us with Guinness written on his t-shirt, and I said, I didn't know they served Guinness in Africa." That upset the African male to the point that other people present, as well as other Leominster police officers, had to intervene. He informed me that he was involved in a conversation with Officer Perreault, who repeatedly referred to African Americans as niggers. This witness then provided me with a 5-page handwritten signed statement. Introduced that. I've also redacted his name to protect him.
He's got to come here and testify. I think you recognize that if this case is, if he is disciplined, he is discharged, and we appeal to civil service, that this document will not be admissible to civil service. And, 2 or 3 years from now, this case will be reversed, and he'll be ordered to pay back pay for 3 or 4 years. So I urge you to exclude this document. This is pure hearsay. Well, you're exposing the city of Leominster to substantial liability here. This officer earns over $50,000 a year. It takes about 3 years for a civil service appeal. So you're looking at easy $150,000, $200,000 that the city of Leominster is going to have to pay this officer when he gets reinstated, because you cannot admit this piece of paper at a civil service here. But I can't.
Notwithstanding the Monday comment, Mr. Mayor, that obvious debate and attention to Mr. Perreault and the Leominster Police Department, what I uncovered through the investigation was an obvious pattern of disturbing behavior by Officer Perreault. And after completing the investigation, I reviewed the police department's conduct manual and determined Officer Perreault's actions violated several rules and regulations. I suggest termination to be the sole and appropriate discipline. I believe Officer Perreault's actions and comments violate department rules. His comments were repugnant and violate the standard of excellence we expect from all Leominster police officers. Russell Peters stated he was an LA comic, and he had been visiting Boston, and he had learned that that was a word used to insult African Americans without learning the intended definition. Those are the 2 places I learned one word.
In reference to Russell Peters' comedy routine, do you recall that the routine was a joke about how white people made up words to be racist?
Yeah.
Yes. And you recall that he has, just before using the word Monday, he has in his routine, he says, he uses the word vinegar to refer to black people.
You obviously know better than me, Joe.
Well, isn't that
No,
correct, Chief?
I don't know that. I just know that he used the word Monday.
And he was joking about the idea that people can make up words to be racist.
Yes, he's a comedian.
All right. And when I went to the Urban Dictionary, you read us only one of many meanings that was given to the word, didn't you?
Yeah.
There were, at least according to my view here, there were 6 meanings given. This case centers on the word Monday, a word that nobody in this police department, perhaps in this room, interprets as a racial slur. The chief picked one meaning out of 6 or 7 in the Urban Dictionary that was offensive and ignored all the other meanings. The city's own evidence, your Exhibit 7 from the Manchester police officer, says that Officer Perreault, when asked what it meant, said, Monday was meant to indicate a form of dislike. Well, how many of you have called a baseball player a word, that was a form of dislike? A bum? Come on. We've all called ball players bums.
Not them.
Because of their failure to perform.
Okay.
And that's what the city's own evidence is telling you, that that's what Officer Perreault meant when he used the word Monday, and that is totally consistent with at least 6 or 7 of the meanings given in the Urban Dictionary, a dictionary that, not the most reputable source for meaning, not a Harvard, not Noam Chomsky as editor.